Hello everyone to another episode of Quiet the Elk. In this episode, I'm going to be reading the ending of Christopher Nolan's screenplay to Inception. I've never read the screenplay before, so I'm really excited to see just how it reads and how Christopher Nolan writes. So during this time as I'm reading, just put your feet up, close your eyes, and relax. Exterior, coast, limbo, day. Ariadne lies in the surf, staring up at a cloudless sky. A tremendous boom prompts her to look around her. Urban buildings piled right down to the water. The buildings are decaying, falling into the ocean like a glacier caving. Cobb wades towards her through the shallow water. Ariadne looks up at the crumbling city around them. Ariadne, this is your world? Cobb, it was. And this is where she'll be. And we cut to interior elevator shaft day. Arthur floats on top of the elevator, planting small charges on the emergency brakes and cable. He sets them, grabs the other explosives, then pushes away, shooting up the shaft. As he hits the detonator, blasting the braking and safety systems of the elevator, we move into slow motion, the fireballs flaming out in graceful licks, and we dissolve to interior antechamber day. Ames races around full speed, getting the defibrillator paddles, laying them by Fischer's body. He runs into the duct, pulls Sato up to a seated position, and hands him a handgun. Ames, come on, Sato. I need you to cover Fischer while I plant the charges. Sato nods weakly, tries to hold the gun. Eames moves to the window, pulls his machine gun off, checks its load. Ready. He watches the security patrols climb up the outer walls. Eames lays down a hail of covering fire, then heads outside. Exterior hospital complex continuous. Eames races along the upper terrace, dodging fire. Bullets shatter a window behind him, and we move into a slow motion, the glass cascading gently, and we dissolve to exterior coast limbo day. Cobb and Ariadne climb up the waves full speed. They move into the shadow of the tall, crumbling buildings. The streets are eerily deserted. As they move further in, the buildings become newer, different. Ariadne marvels at the extraordinary collection of buildings, every architectural style imaginable in waves of failed utopias. Ariadne, you built all this? Cobb, we both did. Ariadne, it's incredible. Cobb, we built for years. Then, when that got stale, we started in on the memories. A child's shout echoes through the deserted canyons, prompting Cobb to look down a side street. A little blonde boy, crouched, his back to us. A little blonde girl joins the boy, and as Cobb turns down the street, they run off. Cobb and Ariadne emerge in a peculiar square, lined with an eclectic mix of buildings from apartment blocks to houses. Cobb, this is our neighborhood. Ariadne, confused. From what city? Cobb, no, our neighborhood. That was our first apartment. Then we moved to that building. We got that small house when Moll became pregnant. Ariadne, you reconstructed that all from memory? Cobb, we had time. Cobb pauses in front of a French country house, staring. Ariadne, what's that? Cobb, the house Moll grew up in. Ariadne, will she be in there? Cobb, no, come on. Cobb leads Ariadne to the entrance of a glass skyscraper. Interior skyscraper lobby, limbo continuous. Cobb leads Ariadne across the gleaming lobby to the elevators. Cobb, we both wanted a house, but we both loved skyscrapers. In the real world, we had to choose. Not here. Interior skyscraper elevator, limbo continuous. Cobb pulls out his handgun and a Ziploc bag full of bullets. Ariadne, how do we send Fischer back? Cobb, we need some kind of kick. Ariadne, what? Cobb, I'll improvise. Cobb cocks his weapon and the elevator stops. The doors open. Ariadne moves to exit. Cobb stops her. Cobb, there's something you have to understand about me, about Inception. You see, an idea is like a virus. Cobb leads her out of the lift. Interior penthouse, Limbo, continuous. Cobb and Ariadne step off the lift and into the interior of a craftsman house. They cautiously move down the corridor towards the back of the house. Cobb, resilient, turns to Ariadne. Highly contagious, and an idea can grow. The smallest seed of an idea can grow to define or destroy your world. Cobb is staring into the kitchen. Moll is sitting at the table, back to them, staring out at the porch. The towers of Limbo stretching off behind it. Moll, the smallest idea such as, your world is not real. Cobb hands Ariadne his gun and moves towards Moll. Moll, a simple little thought that changes everything. Ariadne watches as Cobb sits down beside Moll, and we cut to interior elevator shaft, night. Arthur flies back down the shaft to the top of the elevator, squeezes past the car to the bottom, and starts to set the main charges across the bottom of the car. And we cut to interior penthouse, Limbo, day. Cobb touches Moll's arm. She turns, angry. It is only now that we see that she holds a carving knife. Moll looks at Ariadne. Moll, so certain of your world, of what's real, do you think he is? Points at Cobb. Or do you think he's as lost as I was? Cobb, I know what's real. Moll, what are the distinguishing characteristics of a dream? Mutable laws of physics? Tell that to the quantum physicists. Reappearance of the dead? What about heaven and hell? Persecution of the dreamer, the creator, the Messiah? They crucified Christ, didn't they? Cobb, I know it's real. Moll, no creeping doubts. Not feeling persecuted, Dom? Chased around the globe by anonymous corporations and police forces? The way the projections persecute the dreamer? Moll puts her hand on his face, pitying. Moll, admit it, Dom. You don't believe in one reality anymore. So choose. Choose your reality like I did. Choose to be here. Choose me. Cobb, rising anger. I have chosen, Moll. Our children. I have to get back to them because you left them. You left us. Moll, you're wrong, Dom. You're confused. Our children are here. A child's shout draws Cobb. James crouches on the porch, back to us. Philippa joins him, also turned away. Cobb watches, moved. Moll leans in close. Moll whispers. And you'd like to see their faces again, wouldn't you, Dom? Cobb, our real children are waiting for me up above. And we cut to interior elevator, night. Arthur scrambles to arrange the sleepers on the floor of the car. As his hand comes away from Sato, he sees blood on it. He looks at Sato's belly. The blood is coming through his shirt. Arthur sticks headphones on sleeping Eames, and we cut to exterior hospital, fortress, day. Eames throws a grenade, blowing up the security forces trying to ascend the terraces. He ducks to the ground to avoid heavy fire, starts unpacking the charges and setting them along the base of the terraces. Interior duct system, hospital complex, continuous. Sato looks up as he hears a security guard climbing through the duct. He raises his gun, trembling with weakness. And we cut to interior kitchen, penthouse, Limbo, day. Moll laughs at Cobb. Moll, up above, listen to yourself. You judged me for believing the very same thing. Maul points at the children. Maul, these are our children. Watch. Hey, James, Philippa. The children start to turn to us, but Cobb closes his eyes. Cobb, they're not real, Maul. Our real children are waiting for us. The children run off. Cobb opens his eyes. Maul, you keep telling yourself that, but you don't believe it. Cobb, I know it. Maul, and what if you're wrong? What if I'm what's real? You keep telling yourself what you know, but what do you believe? What do you feel? Cobb looks at Maul, struggling. Cobb, guilt. I feel guilt. And however confused I might get, however lost I might seem, it's always there, telling me something, reminding me of the truth. Maul, what truth? Cobb, that you were wrong to doubt our world, that the idea that drove you to question your reality was a lie. Maul, how could you know it was a lie? Cobb, because it was my lie. Maul, realizing, because you planted the idea in my mind. Cobb, because I performed Inception on my own wife, then reaped the bitter rewards. Ariadne, why? Cobb, we'd become lost in here, living in a world of infinite possibilities, a world where we were gods. I realized we needed to escape, but she locked away her knowledge of the unreality of this world. Insert cut. Maul opens the doll's house, takes the spinning top, lies it down in the safe, locks it away. Cobb, I couldn't make Maul understand that we needed to break free, to die. So I started to search our world. Cobb turns to Maul, but keeps talking to Ariadne. Insert cut. Cobb wanders the streets of Limbo. Cobb, searching for the right place, in her mind. Insert cut. Cobb stops outside the Victorian house, Maul's childhood home. Looking up at it, he heads inside. Cobb, and when I found that place, that secret place where she had shut away her knowledge years before, I broke it open. Insert cut. Cobb looks around Maul's childhood bedroom, comes to the doll's house. Cobb, I broke into the deepest recesses of her mind to give her the simplest little idea. Insert cut. Cobb throws open the safe doors. Sitting on the shelf of the safe is a spinning top. On its side, Cobb, a truth that she had once known but had chosen to forget. Insert cut. Cobb picks up the totem. He spins it in the safe. It spins and spins without end. Cobb closes the door of the safe. Cobb, that her world was not real. Insert cut. Cobb and Maul arrive at train tracks cutting through wasteland. Cobb, voiceover. That death was a necessary escape. They lie on the tracks looking into each other's eyes. Maul is crying. Cobb takes her hand, reassuring. He starts to speak. Cobb, you're waiting for a train that will take you far away. You know where you hope this train will take you, but you can't know for sure. Yet, it doesn't matter. Maul looks at him across the railroad tracks, replies, Maul, because you'll be together. The train comes, obliterating the lovers. Back in the present, Cobb looks into Maul's eyes. She's crying. Cobb, I never thought that the idea I'd planted would grow in her mind like a cancer. That even after we woke, insert cut, Cobb looks around the hotel suite, confused. He moved the curtains. Maul is on the ledge opposite. Cobb, you'd continue to believe that your world was not real. Crying, Maul nods. Maul, that death was the only escape. Insert cut, Maul plunges to her death. Maul, you killed me. Cobb looks at Maul, whispers, Cobb, I was trying to save you. I'm sorry. Maul comes in close to Cobb, looks him over. Maul, you infected my mind. You betrayed me. But you can make amends. You can still keep your promise. We can still be together, right here, in our world. The world we built together. Cut to interior elevator, night. Arthur hits play on his music player. Edith Piaf starts to ring out. Arthur checks his detonator. And we cut to interior antechamber, day. Eames races back in. In the relative quiet, he notices massive low-end musical notes. He drops his gun and goes to Fischer's side. Interior, duct system, hospital complex, continuous. Sato musters all his remaining strength as the guard emerges. Sato fires, dropping the guard, then collapses, the gun clattering to the duct floor. Sato is dead. Interior antechamber, continuous. Eames powers up the defibrillator, puts the paddles on Fischer's chest, then pow! He shocks him, and we cut to interior penthouse, Limbo, day. Lightning crackles across the sky. Ariadne sees it. Ariadne, we need Fischer. Maul, you can't have him. Cobb stares at Maul, mesmerized. Cobb, if I stay, can she take him back? Ariadne, Cobb, what are you saying? Maul, Fischer's on the porch. Ariadne, Cobb, you can't do this. Cobb, go check he's alive, Ariadne. Ariadne moves onto the porch, high above the metropolis. And we cut to interior elevator, night. Arthur nods his head in time with the music counting down, holding the detonator. He starts bracing himself, and we cut to interior antechamber, day. Eames recharges the defibrillator, shocks Fischer again, and we cut to exterior porch penthouse, Limbo, day. Ariadne looks up at a large bolt of lightning rips across the sky. She looks down to see Fischer, bound and bloody, lying below the rail. Ariadne, he's here, and it's time, but you have to come with us. Another massive lightning strikes, flickers the sky. Ariadne, Cobb, I'm not going to let you lose yourself in here. You have to get back to your children. Cobb, send Fischer. I have to stay. Ariadne, you can't stay here to be with her. Cobb turns with Maul, looks at Ariadne. Cobb, I'm not. Sato is dead by now. That means he's here. I have to stay here and find him. Ariadne removes Fischer's gag, pulls him up onto the rail. Cobb looks back at Maul. Cobb, I can't stay here to be with her because she's not real. Maul looks at Cobb, furious. Maul, not real. I'm the only thing you do believe in anymore. Here, doesn't this feel real, Dom? She stabs him in the chest. Cobb wheezes, gasping, looking at Maul. Cobb, I wish you were, but I couldn't make you real. I'm not capable of imagining you in all your complexity and perfection as you really were. You're the best I can do, and you're not real. Maul pulls the knife and moves to strike again. Ariadne, no. A shot rings out. Maul grabs her shoulder. Cobb turns to Ariadne, who's pointing Cobb's gun. Cobb, what are you doing? Ariadne, improvising. She kicks Fischer off the roof, aims again at Maul. Fischer drops as the sky lights up with electricity. Fischer screams, then gasps, no longer falling, and we are interior antechamber, day. Eames pulls the defibrillator from Fischer's chest as he coughs awake. Eames, get in there, quick. Fischer looks up at the double doors, staggers to his feet. Fischer pushes open the door to the strong room. Interior strong room, continuous. Fischer walks into the silent white room. At one end of the room is a bed. A figure lies in the bed, his father, breathing with tremendous difficulty, dying, and we cut to exterior penthouse Limbo day. Ariadne takes aim at Maul. Cobb, no. Cobb holds Ariadne's gaze. She lowers the gun, and we cut to Eames grabs the detonator, then moves to the door of the strong room. Cut to interior elevator, hotel night. Arthur hits the detonator. Interior elevator shaft continuous. The charges on the bottom of the elevator explode, and we move into extreme slow motion as the flames balloon. Cut to interior strong room continuous. A rumble builds as Fischer approaches the bed, overcome with emotion. His father sees him, starts trying to speak. Fischer leans in. Father, hoarse whisper. I was dis. Fischer, I know, Dad. You were disappointed that I couldn't be you. The dying man shakes his head with surprising energy. Father, whisper. I was disappointed that you tried. Fischer hears this, and we cut to interior elevator shaft night. The elevator car is rocketed along its track by the explosion. Interior elevator continuous. Arthur is smashed against the floor of the car next to the sleepers, who shudder with the force of acceleration. And we cut to interior antechamber day. Eames watches Fischer. Eames to himself. Come on. Interior strong room day. The father collapses back onto the pillow. Fischer starts to weep. His father reaches out a trembling hand, but when Fischer tries to hold it, he shakes his son's hand away. He's reaching for the safe next to his bed. His fingers fumble at the keypad. He can't open it. His son pushes 5, 2, 8, 4, 9, 1 into the keypad. Opens it. Inside the safe is the will, and beside it is a homemade pinwheel, clearly made by a child, by Fischer. He takes it out, marveling at it. He turns to his father, but his father is dead. Eames, watching from the door, hits the detonator. Exterior, hospital complex continuous. A line of explosions rips along the lower wall. The entire building starts to slide down the mountain. Interior penthouse Limbo day. A fierce wind starts howling through the house as the sky outside darkens. Cobb shields Maul against the blast, looks up at Ariadne, who holds the railing, fighting the wind. Cobb, that's the kick, you have to go. Ariadne, you're coming. Cobb, no, I'm not. I'm staying here to find Sato. Turns to Maul, and to say goodbye. Ariadne loosens her grip on the railing. Ariadne, don't lose yourself. Find Sato and bring him back. Cobb, I will. Ariadne lets the wind pull her off the edge, falling, and we. Interior antechamber continuous. Ariadne drops as the floor collapses. Her eyes snap open. Exterior penthouse Limbo day. Cobb holds Maul in his arms. The wind dies. Maul, we'd be together forever. You promised me. Cobb, I know, but we can't, and I'm sorry. Maul, you remember when you asked me to marry you? You said you dreamt that we'd grow old together. Cobb, and we did. Maul looks at Cobb, thinking, remembering. Insert cut. Two elderly people, Ma and Cobb, walk through Limbo across a wasteland. Two elderly hands clutch each other as they lie down on the railroad track. Cobb, I miss you more than I can bear, but we had our time together, and now I have to let you go. She nods weakly. Cobb holds Maul as her eyes close, dying, and we. Interior strong room continuous. Fischer and his father's body drop away. Interior elevator night. Ariadne drops inside the rocketing elevator, and as it smashes into the top of the shaft, Ariadne smashes into interior, exterior, van into river, day. The water, the van crunching with the impact, water crashing through the broken windows, flooding the interior. Fischer's eyes open, panicking. He unbuckles himself, pushes out of the broken window, stops, goes back to unbuckle Browning and drag him out. Exterior, river, continuous. Fischer breaks the surface with Browning, who coughs and gasps. He starts pulling for the near bank, struggling through the rain-impacted water. Interior, van, underwater, continuous. Ariadne, Arthur, and Yusuf wait calmly underwater. They are sharing 2 regulators pulled from beneath the front seat. Arthur turns to Sato. There's blood in the water around Sato's belly. His eyes are lifeless. Arthur feels for a pulse, turns to Cobb, whose eyes are lifeless. Ariadne grabs Arthur's elbow, pulling him away. Exterior, riverbank, moments later. Fischer turns, Browning, Eames over. They lie there, exhausted. Browning, I'm sorry, Robert. Fischer stares at the rain of the water. Fischer, the will means that Dad wanted me to be my own man, not live for him. I'm going to, Uncle Peter. Browning nods, wipes the rain from his face. In the puddle beside them, the reflection is not Browning, but Eames. Exterior, underneath bridge in the rain, moments later. Arthur sits on the riverbank, breathing heavily. Arthur, what happened? Ariadne, Cobb stayed. Arthur, with Maul? Ariadne, no, to find Sato. Arthur looks out at the water below the bridge. Arthur, he'll be lost. Ariadne, no, he'll be all right. And we cut to exterior, dawn, crashing surf. The waves toss a bearded man onto wet sand. As the Japanese security guard turns him onto his back, we realize that this is Cobb, older, weary, traveled. Interior, dining room, castle, day. Cobb wolfs his food. The elderly Japanese man, Sato, 90 years old, watches him. Sato, so, have you come to kill me? Cobb does not look up. Sato, I've been waiting for someone to come for me. Cobb, someone from your half-remembered dream. Sato peers at Cobb. Sato, Cobb, not possible. He and I were young men together, and I am an old man. Cobb, filled with regret. Sato remembers, nods. Sato, waiting to die alone, yes. Cobb is staring at something on the table. Cobb, I came back for you. I came to remind you of what you once knew. Cobb gestures at the table. Sato follows his gaze down to the polished surface of the table. Cobb, that this world is not real. The top is still spinning perfectly, as if it will never topple. Sato looks at the top, then back to Cobb. Sato, you came to convince me to honor our arrangement. Cobb, yes, and to take a leap of faith. As Sato, Sands, listens to Cobb, he looks at the gun on the table between them. Cobb, come back, and we'll be young men together again. The elderly Sato looks at Cobb, nods, and we cut to interior, first-class cabin, 747, day. Ariadne watches Cobb. His eyes are closed. Flight attendant, off-screen. Hot towel, sir? His eyes flicker open. He takes the towel with a nod. Ariadne smiles, relieved. Flight attendant, we'll be landing in Los Angeles in about 20 minutes. Do you need immigration forms? Cobb nods, takes a landing card, looks around the cabin. Sato is watching him, serious, haunted. Holding Cobb's gaze, Sato picks up the phone and dials. Cobb nods, thanks. Interior, arrivals, LAX, later. Cobb steps forward to the immigration official, hands him his passport, nervous. The official takes a beat, looks Cobb up and down, Then, whoomp, the passport is stamped. As Cobb takes it back, he spots Ariadne at the next counter. She nods at him. He nods back, then moves off. As Cobb passes through baggage claim, he exchanges subtle greetings with Eames and Yusuf. Arthur smiles broadly at Cobb. Cobb brushes past Fischer, who glances back as if thinking maybe he should know him, then moves on. As Cobb emerges into the crowded arrivals hall, he spots Professor Miles waving at him. Interior, kitchen, Cobb and Miles' house. Day. Cobb enters with Miles, drops his bags, moves to the table, looking out at the overgrown garden. He reaches into his pocket, takes out his pewter spinning top, lowers it to the table, and spins it. A child's shout makes him look up. Through the window, James and Philippa have run into view, playing, their faces turned away. Cobb stares at the back of his children's heads. Miles moves towards the window and knocks on the glass. James and Philippa turn, see their dad. He steps to the window, watching their bright faces shining as they run towards him. Behind him, on the table, the spinning top is still spinning. And we fade out. Credits. End. Thank you for listening to another episode of Quiet the Elk. I really hope you enjoyed the episode, and I hope that you got to enjoy some nice relaxation. Got to catch up on some sleep maybe. Or at least just had a moment to close your eyes and have a little quiet moment in your busy day. So thanks so much for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode.